Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the new Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park. I'm Dan Ellman, along with Keith Fustel. It's a
Dan?
Sunday edition of
Yes.
Today at the Races. We've got 8 on the
Mm-hmm.
card today, Keith. Let's go back a little bit
All right.
to yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
though. Kind of nice performance for St.
Yeah.
Jude. Scary if this guy stays together for a few races in a row.
Absolutely. What, only that was his fourth lifetime start.
6 years old.
Yeah, finally got 2 races back to back and had a beautiful setup. I mean, that duel, they went at it fast and furious. Beaver State and Swiftly Devil head and head right from the go. And, man, he was lurking. St. Jude just really methodically picked it up past that 5/16, and he's got a kick, and I like that 7/8 distance for him, maybe out to a mile. Let's hope he stays together, and things look good in the future. Let's hope it better be. He's 6 now. We'll see how much future he has, but he's certainly got a lot of talent.
87 buyer speed figure, rock
Okay.
solid for St. Jude. Connections told me after the race they'd like to stretch him out. They like the way he fires
Yeah.
down the stretch. He's a big boy, about 1,200 pounds or
Yeah.
so maybe he could handle the additional yardage. Of course, we've got 8 today. Afterwards, you're going to want to stick around at
Yes.
Laurel Park. If you're here, we've got the big game watch party. Free admission, giant TV screens.
Yeah.
You've got food and drink specials. Don't go home and sit with Uncle Elmer, who's going to be double dipping the nacho cheese sticks. Go in there to the big game watch party.
Yes.
Food, drink specials.
Oh,
Prediction on the big game.
Prediction on the big game? Well, I really don't like the red team, and I've carried a lot of I don't know, disdain towards them for a while now. They've been tough on my Ravens, but I think Philly, both sides of the ball, more talented. Who's the better team? We're going to find out. I'm going to give a slight edge to Philly. Field goal game when it's all said and done. But this KC team, it just seems like nothing goes against them, right? Nothing. If a call goes, it's going to go against Philly. It's not going to go against Kansas City, but we shall see. That's why they play the game. I've got some interest into it.
Chiefs 31-28. That's going to
Yeah,
be my
okay.
call. Let's take a look at the weather conditions for today's Sunday 8-race program at Laurel Park. As you can see, the track is muddy. 41 degrees, though. This track's probably going to dry out a little bit.
Yeah.
Windy day, however.
Yeah.
Winds coming out of the west at 14 miles per hour. And as always, keep an eye out on the early races to see if there are any significant biases, if horses are outrunning their odds
Right.
on a certain part of the racetrack or by using a certain style.
You got it. I thought yesterday, for the most part, was pretty fair, all in all, when we broke it down. We saw speed the other day carry quite well through the opening 6 or 7 races. But another good performance yesterday. Take nothing away from all the hard
yeah.
ways. I thought that was a really good ride by the X-Man. Patient inside, worked that seam past the 5/16 to the quarter, kicked away. A little drift in through the stretch, but nice to see that one put it together for the win.
Yeah, Jerry Robb said
Yeah.
maybe he was waiting on horses.
Okay.
Once he made the lead, he flopped back to his left lead. It'll be interesting where he goes now. They don't write too many
Right.
two X's, so either you put him back in for the 62.5
Could be
tag, or
yeah.
you step him up into stakes. Jerry's got some nice 3-year-olds in the same boat looking for some stakes opportunities. Race
Okay.
number 1 will kick things off on the Sunday card with a 12,500 down to 10 maiden claimer at 5.5 furlongs. Maryland breds eligible for the $15,000 claiming price. Scratch the 7. Gala
Yeah.
Dancer. It's kind of a big scratch in here. Before we get things going, though, remember that this is the kickoff leg of our early value pick 5. 12% takeout. It's the best deal in racing. 50-cent minimum wager. Keith, you've got a ticket.
Yeah, we're going to work it down another ticket day that involves a single. We did get our single home yesterday. Unfortunately, we didn't catch the others altogether. But, hey, we're going to kick things off. 2, 5, and 6. Diane Lee got an opportunity. And speaking about Jerry Robb, Miss Serafina, we're going to throw that one in the 6. Race 2, 2 deep with the 2 and the 5. Super neat. He really took to rating perfectly last time. I think it's another good setup from just off the pace with jockey Kevin Gomez for Salzman and Clover Hill. Race 3, here's where I struggle in this race. 2, 3, 6, and 7. We've got a scratch of the 4 happy hour joker that kind of lessens the ticket. I was probably going to have to throw that filly in there, but we go 4 deep in race 3. Race 4, here comes the single. Fitness might find a new home in for the 12-5 today after a win with those blinkers. Look really good at Parks. Race 5, wrap it up. 2 deep. Royal Seamstress, True Sunshine, $24 early value pick 5 ticket with a 12% takeout.
Well, let's take a look at our combined top selection in race number 1. We're going fishing for a first-time starter. The number 6, Miss Serafina. We saw Rob in the X-Man score yesterday with all the hard ways. Miss Serafina, I think, just catches the right field. If she has any ability, she's likely going to show it against this group. A $15,000 weanling purchase. She's a half to 1 wet track winner and 1 debut winner. There isn't a ton of black type in this pedigree, but I trust these connections, and I don't mind this outside post.
That's it. You just said it. You're looking at a horse like Diane Lee, who's going to take a lot of play in here. Got an opportunity, I think, takes plenty of play. With the way this barn is cycling right now, I'm going to take my shot. Opportune time for Miss Serafina. Outer post, avoid the big bear out at the gate. Exaggerators 10% with the firsters. So, but you talk about 3 starters out of this mare, a winner and a runner-up. I'll take a shot with the 6, Miss Serafina.
Got an opportunity as your second selection in this race, 1 of 2, along with Diane Lee, taking a big drop out of the 30 down to 24 level. Got an opportunity, was wired last time out in a slow-paced race by a runaway that was coming into that race in good form. She doesn't have a lot of early speed with the scratch of Gala Dancer. Does this one get the setup?
That's it. That's the $1 million question in the shorter field. Going to hope that the likes of Diane Lee goes. Maybe this first or Noel's Dream has some speed, and even Miss Serafina got an opportunity. I do think will bring a kick. Might be just a little too late, but that 2-back try after that slower beginning, that made a nice big middle move just to flatten late. 5.5 just might be what the doctor ordered.
And let's be honest, Diane Lee is simply the horse to beat because she drops, and with the scratch of the 7 now, there's a chance that Forrest Boyce is just going to put the number 2, Diane Lee, on the lead. She finished behind a horse that came back to Rampun, dropped down to 12.5 with a 58 Beyer speed figure. She changed back to her wrong lead, went in between horses last time out going 7, but 5.5 with her speed. She's obviously the horse to beat. You're going to have to take a short price.
Just a little bit of a fade there. Luminous Secret, Passages come back to run well. Yes, and if Forrest clears early, she's as good as anybody in the country rating up top. She's just a great judge of pace, no matter whether it's on the front end or from off the pace. Yeah, Diane Lee, taking this drop here, they mean business, I'm sure. I gotta lean firster in here for a little bit more value.
I want to quickly touch upon the 3, Noel's Dream, first-time starter by Lord Nelson, an exceptional wet track sire, winning at 19%. The dam has thrown 2 wet track winners. The dam's a half to Great Notion, our top sire here in Maryland, who loves it on a wet track, or at least his progeny does. $14,000 yearling. I've got this horse matching up a work with Trey's Aries, who won yesterday for the Linda Albert Barn, 40 Beyer speed figure, so she wouldn't be a surprise either.
No, wouldn't. And the Percassi, there are a couple debut winners. I thought that was on the synth. Was it an off track then? I might have missed that. So yeah, definitely take that into consideration for the 3, Noel's Dream and Tyus Lampastina.
Moving on to race number 2, we're going 5.5 furlongs. It's a 12,005 down to 10. Now winners of 2 Life. We've got a field of 6 in here with Super Needy, the 9-5 morning line favorite. That's the number 5. This is the kickoff leg of our 50-cent pick 4. If you get knocked out of the pick 5, don't despair. We've got a 50-cent pick 4 in race number 2. Super Needy, though, looks like the horse to beat. And we have a video spotlight for the number 5, Super Needy's most recent start. This was a pretty good effort, finishing ahead of 3 of the same horses that he is going to be facing here.
I really like this performance. A little trouble 2-back on December the 1st. Put it together here, and Gomez got this gelding to relax very well through the first, I'd say, quarter, 3/16, 5/16 of a mile. Works outward here, makes a steady progression up to go ahead and get El Divino Nino. Just can't quite hold on. Moved into that flow 22-4, 47-1. This is as good as this guy might be. I hope we don't have a little regression off of that. But, man, he's shown some promise. 2 of the last 3 are very good, and we talked about it. That was a little excuse 2 races back. That wasn't the easiest of trips, but I like this guy out in the clear to spy the speed and move into it and prevail.
He's got some wet track pedigree as well. We see that the track has been upgraded to good right now. Super Needy's a half to 3 wet track winners. The second dam was a winner on the wet track as well. Let's talk a little bit about your second pick. That's the number 2. Put the Past Behind, going out for Diane Marisi. This barn has been going great guns right now, and the runner-up from the race last time out came back to earn a 59 Beyer when placing at Charlestown.
This is one where I can just he can thrust into the flow slow here and stay, kind of a little bit like Corrales' horse yesterday. Great tab by Dave Rodman. That was Sweet Heidelberg, right? They got it done, but I can see that coming. A little tougher field, I thought, up at Penn. Back here, 10 post, 2 races back, overcame that to run a really big race. Slim lead mid-stretch, just a fade late. Beach Cowboy win, no joke, came back to win. Running against the right guy, on it or just off the pace. Yes, put the pass behind with a good break is going to be there a long time.
If only the 3 El Divino Nino wasn't 1 for 22 lifetime, I would probably like him a lot more. We saw him give a game try against Super Needy where he was doing some of the heavy lifting on the lead. And then last time out at Charlestown, he caught a sloppy track, fine. But it was also a race where they ran 1-2 all the way around the track. There was no closing, and maybe that worked against El Divino Nino. But considering that he's going to take some money and his lifetime record, lots of seconds and thirds, that's where I'm going to keep him.
Yeah, he's going to make an impact. There's no doubt he's going to be into this race. Had a brutal kind of a trip. You get that 8 post at Charlestown going 7 or 6.5, and you're the Maryland horses that kind of go up there. Sometimes they're just a beat slow through that first 16th, 8th of a mile, which can just take you right out of the mix at Charlestown. Back to a favorable spot here, a little drop down in class in the 5.5. It should work for El Divino Nino, but you're right. That record's just scary to be confident to put this one on top.
I have never been a fan of the number 1, Not So Holy. This horse has been the beaten favorite in his last 3 starts, but I will say this. There is a chance that Toledo is going to be sending this guy from the inside post and maybe cutting back to 5.5 off a couple of more bullet workouts is just going to get him to the front and maybe gets brave.
It's just uncanny. You see in this horse, we were against him. We thought it was claimed off a negative drop. Horse went up there, battled to fade, and 2 work since bullets nonetheless. Yeah, they've got to be tied on from the rail. But again, I don't know. Maybe we'll see the horse just take straight back and try to circle. I don't know with Toledo what we're going to get for Not So Holy, but underneath for me.
I think he's going. He has that win at Keeneland. I can't forgive the loss at Mountaineer. He's got to get back into good form. Race number 3 is at 6 furlongs. Maiden Claimer 30 down to 24. The Maryland breds are eligible for a 37,500 claiming tag. Big scratch in here. The 4 Happy Hour Joker was going to take some major play. Another Hope the 6, X-Man, Jerry Robb 5-2, Angel Cruz on the 5-7's Magic, Tyler Connor on the 3, Tuned to the Moon. This race is the first leg of the 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6. It is our jackpot wager. Race number 3 is kind of an interesting field. Another Hope is coming off a little bit of a layoff, but the last time we saw her, she did some really good things against a sharp gate-to-wire winner, and she finished ahead of 2 next-out winners.
I just like the effort she gave prior to the layoff. She was trying very hard. Horses kind of got away from still willing enough to earn the place in both of those efforts. Freshened up, Lasix going on, barn going in the right direction, enough positional speed in here. I think X-Man, if she kind of gets into the flow early, quarter pole, he can carry a horse like Another Hope home.
Another one with a little bit of a wet track pedigree. The dam went 1 for 1 on a wet track. The second dam won 3 races on a wet track. Just think Another Hope is going to show good early speed. Let's talk a little bit about my top selection, the number 2, Divining Smile, and we have a video spotlight for Divining Smile. Let's take a look at this race on December the 29th. The breaks sharp, but breaks outward a little bit.
Yeah, and that was it. Broke outward and then kind of worked an okay trip, and even just maybe the slightest of bobbles there as well coming out of the gate. Up there, drafted back with 7 to 10 lengths out of it by the time they hit mid-turn. I thought the last 1/8 of a mile, though, picking things up, I liked the effort. Trying is my comment. That's a comment I'll use sometimes. Just visually, maybe not quite good enough for that group, but the effort was there. And anytime you get hit with that trouble out of the gate, you're looking at a surface like this, a surface she had never been on before, that muddy sealed surface. I think all in all, you can take something out of this race and think, hey, she's got some heart. She's going to give you effort. Might just, again, be a little bit pace dependent. in this particular race.
She just misses a photo finish for third, a multi-horse photo finish for third. I agree with you. I thought she was trying very hard. After that good start, but a outward break, she then got outrun through a pretty fast pace.
Yeah.
And Kevin had to kind of pick his way
Yes, he did.
through horses with her. I did like the late kick in here. I think at least she showed she could handle a wet track. And like many of these, she's going to be getting Lasix for the first time. The 3 is Tune to the Moon. Jockey change is Tyler Connor. We've got a trainer stat for trainer Kieran McGee. Between January the 9th and February the 2nd, Kieran has been on fire. 9 for 31, 29% to $2.20 ROI. That's the good news. The bad news is Kieran usually gives them a race or two before they do their absolute best. And I wonder if Tune to the Moon is going to need that. A $1,000 buyback as a yearling?
Yeah, and you're looking at it. This is a homebred, but Mare was okay. 3 for 18, won the debut. Both siblings had a lot of speed, so I'm expecting with a good break, Tune to the Moon, may try to go to attack right off the bat.
Let's talk a little bit about the 7 Fair Trade. This horse has been very popular, and I like the fact that Robbie Bales dipped right back in and reclaimed this horse out of the second lifetime start. They tried to go a mile with her last time out. It's not like the pace was there. Racheno had his choice. The 1, the 7, lands on the 7.
Yeah, I think this one, they mean business. You come back and go for a horse like this, you pay the extra money. They must have liked Fair Trade. And I thought the debut, this was a video spotlight I think I used on the 24th of January. Just didn't quite fire at the mile. Turning back to 6, yes, it works. A cleaner break from out here, was caught in between horses first time out, having the break. No real excuses from the outer post. Fair Trade, when you break it down, I think has enough speed. This horse with a good break will be into the action when they turn for home.
Let's move on to race number 4. We're going the 1-turn mile with the long stretch. It's a 12,500 down to 10 claiming event. 6 in here. Fitness, who's your single in the early value pick 5, is the 7 to 5 morning line favorite. Michael Sanchez takes up the mount, and guess what? It is the kickoff leg of our late value pick 5 with carryover potential, but we still have the same great 12% takeout. Mackenzie Pfeiffer, our colleague, has a pick 5 ticket to share. We do not have a ticket for Mackenzie Pfeiffer, but you'll have it maybe for the afternoon program, and I'm sure it will be good.
Yes, that's probably some late changes here with a couple of these scratches, just kind of reworking the late value pick 5 ticket.
Let's talk a little bit about Fitness, and we have a video spotlight for Fitness's second lifetime start and first ever victory. Let's watch this performance. I thought Fitness was able to find a really good spot, stalking a solid pace, but once Ruben Silvera asked her to go, she went.
Got away. It's 6-1 that day with the addition of blinkers and a drop for a Ness horse at Parks, and had trouble in debut. You see the comment, fractious steady start by Equibase guy up there, but relaxed beautifully off the pace, and when things ramped up, was able to sustain beautifully, I thought, from the quarter pole home, winning off by 5 3/4. My only thing here, and this horse was straight and true to the wire, no drop, right back for the Maryland bred for 12-5. This one's a half to Burks, Parkerness, horses that have been okay, shown decent buyer figures, going around of ground. Attack mode here, right back in the third start for Fitness and Ness.
Got to be happy with the outside drawing here, especially with Cruz Chica, perhaps potentially the speed down towards 1 inside. Fitness is a half to 1 wet track winner, and we have a trainer stat for Jamie Ness, and it's going to be a good one because Jamie usually has good trainer stats. Let's take a look at the stat for Fitness.
This was a monster stat, right? This is the one. Sprint to dirt route with last out maiden winners. 9 for the last 13, 69%. Look at the ROI, 423. Phenomenal. Fitness at 7 to 5 on the line. Yes, we'll take a lot of play. I do think she faces better than what she faced in that maiden breaking score at Parks. So she's going to have to, in my eyes, hold form or maybe even go up slightly. Cruz Cheek, you talk about the race, not a lot of speed. Is she the one to kind of go? Maybe why not Grace? But I think you're going to see Yom Ortiz go ahead and go with this 5 horse.
I agree. I think Cruz Cheek is going to go. They tried to show a little bit of speed last time out. They just got hung out 4 wide after the opening quarter mile, and then she finished okay, well behind the 2 favorites. I think she fits better at this level. Interesting to note, though, that Weston Hamilton had his choice. Cruz Chica, Golden Aurora. He lands on our combined second pick, the 4 Golden Aurora. I thought this horse ran okay last time out, going 3/4 of a mile. Got bumped at the start a little bit, swung 4 wide. inside on the far turn and into the stretch. And it's not like there was a ton of pace for this one to attack.
No, comes back. A bullet work under its belt for Robbie Bales. Looking at the breeding, I think we're going to be okay at a mile. Lasix going on, gets a chance now, possibly over a not sealed racetrack. It has been caught with 2 muddy sealed surfaces in the last. I like this horse. I like this horse off of that. That second race out was good. Thought that was a good score at 18-1. I think we used her that day. Yeah, I'm not terribly, worried about the last effort. I think this one's a player in race number 4.
And a horse that can show a little bit more speed stretching out to the mile by Golden Sense, who is a superb miler. Star Venezuelan's going to step up out of the maiden claiming ranks. Talk about a setup last time out. When 12-5 maiden claimers go 23-1 for the opening quarter, you're supposed to be looking for a closer. But Star Venezuelan got bounced around leaving the gate very badly, showed a lot of guts to win that race. And this horse is really bred for a wet track.
And I think looking at the route, the mile, I think that tonalist topside cities, I think it's enough to get you there going the one-turn mile. I probably should have showed this one as well. Impeded start up. Basically eliminated, I thought. And for this horse to make up that kind of ground, yes, got some help up front, speaks volumes of the determination that this young filly's got. I think, yes, with a better break, this jockey-trainer combo, look at that strike rate. 35% with an ROI over 4. Scatulatano, we've talked about it. He's a guy that I haven't seen a whole lot. Man, the horses just seem to run. They're around the money a lot.
6, 4, 3, 5 for Keith. 6, 4, 5, 2 for me. 4 down, 4 to go. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back for our final 4 races on the Sunday card.
Baltimore! To the city of Baltimore, to all the fans watching around the world, riders up!
They're off in the Preakness.
All eyes of the world will be on Baltimore.
They're head and head. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Seabiscuit is the winner.
And it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Sunday Silence takes the lead at the quarter pole.
American Barrow, phenomenal in the Preakness. And the filly did it! Rachel Alexandra! Here is Smarty Jones. He wins the Preakness by a dozen lengths.
She's the brave, wins the Preakness.
Welcome back to Today at the Races on a Sunday afternoon. Going to be afternoon in 15 minutes. Main track is good.
Okay.
4 down, 4 to go, which means we kick off the 50-cent pick 4. But let's take a look at the field for race number 5. We're going 3/4 of a mile in here, solid field of 8 horses. These are some hardy mares, proven credentials over a wet track. Which is a starter optional claimer. The optional claiming price $12,500. The starter allowance $8,000. Royal Seamstress 9-5 on the morning line. And again, this is the first leg of the late 50-cent pick 4. I think this is a wide open race. We have to talk about Royal Seamstress at least just a little bit because she looks like the main speed, taking a drop in class, and she just never really got a breather last time out. She was hustled out of there from the inside post. She was almost immediately confronted by 2 other horses, and she hung in there till about the 16th pole before she got tired. The dam went 2 for 7 on a wet track, so that's not really an issue. I don't think she's going to have to work as hard to get to the lead here.
I don't think so. Will Nia Lithica go ahead and try to send from the inside? She may. But Royal Simpson, she kind of fooled me 2 races back when Tori Alba got her to relax a little bit further off the pace. So she's shown versatility in the past. I thought she'd take more money at the windows last time. She did not. But you know what? She held pretty well after being engaged around the turn. She dueled very late to fade. So, yes, off track. I like this on the bottom side. She's never been on the main track as Royal Seamstress. You talked about the mare, the family, and then you look at this successful appeal on that bottom side. That speaks wet track, wet track, wet track. Yeah, I think the road is going to go through her from the 3/16 pole to the 8th pole. Let's see if a horse like True Sunshine, who got it done in open company, is holding very good form for Kieran McGee right now, can come back and duplicate an effort. Might have to run just a little bit faster. We've got a video spotlight. When this one, she kind of bucked the trend on the 31st of January.
Yeah, Speed was doing so well on this wet track, but she was 2-5 for a reason. She just seemed to tower over this field. She was able to tuck in between horses on the backstretch, gets outside and into the clear, and Torrealba has no problems in hailing this exhausted pace setter at the 16th pole. Now, the Buyer came back kind of light, 59. True Sunshine is going to have to improve off of that race, but she does have some back races, most notably the start 3 starts back that puts her in the mix, and I think she's tactical enough to adapt to any kind of race flow.
And I think the drier the track, the better for her. Her best number was on that fast track. If the wind picks up a little bit and this track dries out, I think that's going to help her chances even more. And just talking about the speed in here, Neolithic at True Sunshine. Also the 7 I forgot to mention coming in. Annie Works Too Much could be part of this flow. Looks like a horse that wants to go ahead and go. Best work is done on the front end. So Royal Seamstress, we'll see. Coming out from in between horses, she better break sharp. If she doesn't, though, I think she has the ability to make that move from just off of it. I key around the 4 and the 5 in here. You're looking at Baby Socks. We've got a stat for this runner. Rudy Sanchez Solomon got it done at the mile last time out.
With last out winners on dirt, 3 for the last 12, a $2.80 ROI. Baby Socks got a really nice ride from Matthias Liapestina that day. Was able to save as much ground as possible, saw a seam in the 2-path and upper stretch, then slipped through along the inside, and Baby Socks did the rest. This horse is in excellent form, as you mentioned right now, and handles a wet track with no issues. 5, 4, 3, and 6 for Keith. 5, 3, 4, and 1 for me. You want to talk quickly about Skip Through the Fire? What happened last time?
Yeah, Skip Through the Fire, I don't know. You know, the flow was okay. Caught wide every step of the way. 7/8, maybe back to 6 is going to do some wonders for this one. Again, a little moisture in the track. 2 back was good enough. Gonna need a little help, but I think she's gonna get it today. And the Corrales runners we're gonna respect for sure. And talking about Corrales, Baby Socks beat Sweet Heidelberg, who came back to win yesterday. So I guess that does enhance the chances of Baby Socks. Good race here. They're gonna have to be tied on. Rural Seamstress, I think, is a horse dangling in there. The Maryland bred for 12-5.
And you mentioned Annie Works Too Much, a horse that's won 3 out of her last 5 starts. I did think the rail was very good at Parks last time out, and she was pushing the pace from the inside post. So maybe she was slightly aided by the way the racetrack was playing. Let's move on to race number 6. This is a nice field of some salty older horses going a 1-turn mile, 7,500 down to 6,000. Beaten claiming event. Take the 10, Pudge Boy Palace. He is entered next week. Yorli Hey Hu is the 5-2 morning line favorite. Michael Sanchez picks up the mount this afternoon for Jamie Ness. I want to talk a little bit about Yorli Hey Hu. I know he was listed as a vet scratch at Parks on January the 15th. I thought he ran well last time out. He did get a very nice trip. He saved ground every step of the way. He cut the corner into the stretch, but he was really firing on. Quinn Cannon got a big jump on him that day. This is a horse with a lot of back class, but he is pace dependent.
Yeah, that's the kicker in this race. I really like Pudge Boy Palace. We're going to go ahead and win. He is looking ahead to the spot on Friday. He's in a good spot as well, sprinting. So where is the flow going to come from? Is it Prince Fire, basically? Got to just go ahead and go. Maybe an Ace 9-9? I mean,
I think if Ace 9-9 can remember what he used to be, he can certainly show some speed. But I think Prince Fire, with the weight off, with the 10-pound bug on, I just think is going to have to show some speed in the second start of the form cycle. The question with Prince Fire, obviously, is Prince Fire good enough? And I just think the pace is going to be fair, not fast, and maybe that'll be good enough for a horse like Yodelei Heihu. The 7 Master of None, though, was a very underrated closer, and this horse didn't get the flow last time out. Got wired by Everett Song, who we saw come back and post a very game victory with a 73 Buyer speed figure and an $8,000 starter. Master of None just looks very well spotted here.
Yeah, I do like that. I like the recent 1-turn mile races, the consistency of those numbers. 2 tougher trips out of the gate, tough, 2 back bumps, steady. Last time out, broke slow, 4 wide. 2 major excuses. I think this guy, he's probably going to be the horse I key around. I think we're going to unfortunately lose a little bit of that 10-1 morning line because of the scratch of Pudge Boy Palace. But yeah, Darwin's, he's just got to make sure he gets some kind of help. He might have to be thrust in the race a little bit sooner too. Mid-turn, I don't want him more than maybe say 3 out of it to start ramping up, because he's going to have to get the jump on Yodelei, because once this one gets rolling, he's tough. And he got a great trip there last time, did the one. Rodriguez right up the inside to go ahead and rally into Quinn Cannon.
Another dangerous closer in this race is the 2 Martini Martin. We have a trainer stat to show you for Carlos Mencia. When he wheels horses back in 2 weeks or less, they do well. 5 for the last 19, 26% winners, a $4.32 ROI. Now, you liked this horse last time out, and I don't necessarily think you were wrong, because that was a race where they ran 1, 2, 3, all the way around the track. And if we know something about Martini Martin, the horse needs something to run at. When you go 49-3 and almost 115 to 3/4, you don't have anything to run at. This horse is getting the class relief he needs and should get a fairer race flow.
Something we've said time and time again. The trainers are going to look, the jockeys are going to look, hey, there's not much speed in here. Let's go ahead and be a little bit more, attack-oriented. Let's go. So that could playing perfectly into the hands of Martini Martin and Torrealba. Second time gelding, back to a condition. Yes, a user for me. So, yeah, they're my 2 keys, 2 and 7. Italy is going to take plenty of play. Hopefully I can get that one out of the exact, although I know you need it. But Martini Martin, that number was – and the number plays last time. The buyer speed figure just goes ahead and plays right in here. Won't be a big price.
We also have Captain Cardo in there, and it's worth noting, Jose Corrales has been on a real roll this week. What is it, 3 winners? Captain Cardo, another horse that might have been compromised by a lack of pace, a race where they ran 1-2 around the track last time out. I would not be surprised at all if they revert to the late-running tactics that have worked well. Maybe they tried to get a little bit too close, realizing that the pace was going to be slow, and it took this horse out of his game.
It's been a long time, right, since when you're looking back, you got to go back. But coming back here, you get the condition, okay? Gets the condition here. That's going to work. Captain Cardo, I don't see him as winning, but you talk about Corrales right now. Anything Corrales a Rojo combo. But again, Exacta Tri-Supers, I like to preach, will not be left out. No.
Move on to the feature, race number 7, 5.5 furlongs, high-level optional claiming event, 55,000 the claiming option. We've got 6 in here, and on their best days, these horses are stakes classed, including the number 6, Sevens 11. Sevens 11 was what, second in the De Francis, was it? Back in
General George.
Second in the General George, behind a horse named Post Time, who we're very familiar with.
Horse,
the question is Sevens 11 that kind of horse at this point? We do have a video spotlight for Sevens 11's most recent race. Let's take a look, because he was involved from the start over this wet track, and he gets run down by a horse that's just in super form.
Yeah, really good form. 7-11 goes ahead and makes this move into the flow, pokes ahead in front at the quarter pole, and it looks like, he might go ahead and be gone. He's been fine on and off track, but this particular afternoon, Mr. Antonelli was just too much, shifted out and sustained. Left lead there for 7-11. I thought, now he switches back, I thought he would still stay on just a little bit better numbers. He's got to pick it back up a little bit. He's going to take plenty of play in here. Yeah, you've got him on it too. I mean, you look at the record. He's going to be able to spy some of the speed. You've got some quick runners in here. Callan, man, very fast, cold feet off the fresh, and will probably go ahead and go. He's just going to have to bring a little bit better finish than what he showed last time. I know the 5.5, maybe that's going to be the key for him, but I'm going to try to beat him with the 5. This is a horse you don't have in the mix at all. Paradise Valley for Kate DeMasi. I respect that.
She does very good work, especially shipping horses down here. And this horse last time out might have been out a little bit for the experience.
It looked like it to me. An overland trip, a little lackluster all the way through and through. Sharper second time out. I've got a little stat here. 16 for 60. Dirt sprint, second after this kind of break for DeMasi. ROI 283, and we've got another stat. We can throw that right up right now. We can run that one back if we can. Talented Man for Michael Moore, who had a recent winner here, if I'm not mistaken, Dan.
Michael Moore, another good Parks-based trainer and Talented Man, a horse with some back class. I really think the layoff is key here for Talented Man. More 2 to 4 month layoffs, 3 for the last 10, 332 ROI. Talented Man is a speed ball. I just think the way he tired last time out, it didn't look like he had a ton of excuses. It was like he was crying out for a break. And he has one-off layoffs in the past, and maybe he can just sort of sneak away to the lead under Andy Hernandez. To me, the key in this race is the 2 No Easy Days, because I can just see this horse tracking if the 1 decides to go after the 3, and we know he's classy enough to win.
Yeah, a little moisture still within this track. 5 for 5 in the money. 2 wins for No Easy Days. had some trouble last time out behind Prince of Jericho, kind of thrown off his game. Vied, steady between 3/8. When those better horses got away from him, he had no chance to make it up. But he ramps back. He likes this racetrack. I do think if he comes away unscathed the first eighth of a mile, Toledo will have this one in striking position to bring a finish. I'm looking for one of these two to stalk and pounce.
What do you do with the one cold feet? A horse that's had success recently on the turf, swum 3 out of 4 starts on the grass, but has also done well on dirt. Now returning off a layoff for Cal Lynch.
Yeah, I just think it's not going to be easy for him. He's really going to earn. He's going to show it to me. Work's coming in okay, but with Talented Man to his outside, if they both break together, I don't see how one gets away from the other, and I think they get tangled up in a duel.
And that could set things up for horses in the second flight. Most likely, No Easy Days and 7's 11. Let's complete the card with race number 8, 5.5 furlongs, Maiden Claimer, 12.5 down to 10. Maryland Bred's eligible for the 15 grand. Claiming price. The 3 Hey Alexa is scratched. The number 1 More Bubbles will be piloted by Angel Cruz. The 7 is Sweet No-No, 6-5 on the morning line. And I won't be surprised if Sweet No-No shows a lot more speed than last time because the break was not good.
Let's go to the video. We've got a video spotlight from that race on the 18th of January, including Born Charmer as well.
We see Sweet No-No getting pinched a little bit out of there, and it really takes. Watch him from the 6 hole is Sweet No-No, number 6, and just smashed right there. They're forced to take it all the way back, and that just hurts Sweet No-No's chances in this race. Obviously, you've got to make up a ton of ground. The fact that Sweet No-No made a prolonged mid-race move, has just moved into 3rd, and is actually going to poke ahead into 2nd, turning for home, you understand why this horse flattened out. This is a very tough trip. If she breaks from the outside here, I think she goes right to the front.
Exactly. I think that's the key. She shouldn't have any real adversity unless Born Charmer comes away awkwardly to the outside. All things being equal, Sweet No-No looks like the flow here.
Bella Creed is the number 2 as we take a look at her. She's flattening out just a little bit against Sweet No-No. Take a look at Born Charmer, kicking on at the very end of this race with a little bit of a bid. Bella Creed's where I'm going to go, a little bit of a price play. A horse that just didn't do much at Laurel last time out, but I thought at Charlestown most recently she did okay. The question is if you want to believe that figure. A 24 actually makes her competitive in this race. She was sort of inside at the back of the pack. She swung very wide into the stretch. She didn't change leads, but she was also wired by the favorite that day. The dam did win on a wet track. I'd like to see Bella Creed get into the race a little bit sooner, though.
Yeah, she better start picking it up a little bit. But as you say, all these newly turned 3-year-olds are getting LASIK. You just don't know the effect sometimes, and these horses can make big jumps, the lesser experienced ones. And I'm looking for the 1. I think More Bubbles is a horse. You completely toss the return try on the 29th of December. Muddy sealed surface. Carried out the start, caught 4 wide. J-Rod was named that day. That was first-time blinkers. Took some play, right? 6-1, close to 7-1. He was going to ride back. He was named. That you get beat 30, you're top right, and you decide, okay, I'm going to come back on a maiden 15. That wakes me up. We're going to go first-time LASIX, and I think we can run a stat.
We have a stat for Carlos Mancia. Experienced horses, first-time LASIX, 5 of the last 17, almost a 30% strike rate, 589 ROI. More Bubbles was listed as a Parks Vet scratch on January the 15th. I just think this horse loathed the muddy track last time out. And as this track dries out, I think it's good news for More Bubbles. And I thought she ran an underrated race 2-back when just simply in over her head.
Yeah, and I'm not, like I say, I talk about the works. I'm not a huge works guy. I want to see consistency, but that January 18th kind of jumps out at you. You're 1 of 80. You're maiden 50. So, you know, that speaks to me a little bit. So I think More Bubbles with an appropriate break. Maybe she's the one to go ahead and kind of track Sweet No-No. If she breaks really good, maybe she goes ahead and goes. Second time blinkers, gets a fair shot out of the gate. Should be into it early.
Pawtucket Shuffle's my second choice in here. Junkie Zambrana had his choice. The 4, the 5 lands on Pawtucket Shuffle. Another horse getting LASIX for the first time. Shipping down from New York, where she finished directly behind a horse that came back to graduate at that 25,000 state bred level with a 44 buyer speed figure. A horse with a closing kick, but boy, when you're cutting back from a mile to 5.5, there is always the fear that you're just going to get completely outrun.
The good thing is you're looking at the field, the rest of her competition, they're not lighting it up 22, 46 and change. So, yes, I think she'll be a little bit closer by the time they turn for home.
1764 for Keith, 2514 for me. Value play time for the Sunday card here at Laurel Park. Keith's going with race number. That's how I'm going to go
You're
with race
gonna go
number
first, all
3.
right.
Divining Smile. I
value.
thought this horse had a sneaky little late run last time out. Donovan Houghton, I think, does a good job, but doesn't attract too much play at the windows. I think this could be a good spot for Divining
I
Smile.
like that. I'm just trending in the right direction. Every figure is going up and up and up. Last race with that adversity, the close in, the last eighth of a mile and keep going. Yeah, Divining Smile. I like those chances, especially the number 6-1.
Good learning experience for that horse. Let's take a look at your value play. You're going to go with
More bubbles. We're going to stay right here in race 8. Wrap things up. Hopefully, if we're down a little bit, it's a get-out horse for us. For Carlos Mancia, you ran the stat with the Lasix, very strong. We talked about J-Rod. He was supposed to come back, does not. But that's enough for me. Second-time blinkers on a drier track. This one could be into the mix very early and show a big form reversal from that last race on the 29th of December.
second time off a short layoff as well. That's it for this edition of Today at the Races. Mackenzie Pfeiffer and Callie Francois and Dave Rodman will take you through the afternoon. And speaking of Dave Rodman, he's up next with Scratches and Changes.
All right, good luck.